For years, the trademark of this legendary Japanese manufacturer has always been Zoom Zoom. But after the decommission of the Rx7 and RX8, we've seen the manufacturer shift its gears a bit. They focused most of their efforts on building award-winning SUV crossovers and family saloons. Now, Mazda's reputation has always been phenomenal, but without a rotary engine on its lineup or a massive turbocharged upgrade, it's easy to see how this manufacturer has lost their Zoom Zoom. It's true. After the decommission of the Mazda Rx7 and Mazda RX8, we've seen the manufacturer focusing most of its time on SUVs and family saloons. You might not have known yourself, but Mazda actually has a very predominant racing history. They have many wins and hold many records and championships across the world and throughout the States, even as iconic as the Le Mans of 24 hours. Now, we know the Miata MX-5 is nothing new. In fact, it's been around for almost 30 years, and they've sold over 1 million of them. As far as cars are concerned, this car's like my grandfather. It's old, it's stubborn, it stays true to its values. You can't change it a whole lot. And that's one of the beauties about the MX-5. They've changed the name, some small things over the years, 5 or 6-speed transmission. But for the most part, that car has stayed the same. It's always been a beautiful roadster, front engine, rear wheel drive, and always put a smile on your face when you rip the car. Now we're out here with Shift Motors in Burlington, Ontario to see if that 4th generation Miata holds up to its test. One thing that never died with the former MX-5's name, the Miata, was the glorious and incredibly robust transmission that these cars have. Coming from a racing background, we would bang these gears all day long and the engines and transmission would take it. It's just a completely reliable car. When you bury your foot in this car, it's no secret the MX-5 isn't a powerhouse. In fact, it's far too elegant for that. The interior is intelligently designed and it has lightning-fast throttle response. This engine was created overseas with Mazda, and it's the same one commonly used in the Mazda 3. It has the highest compression ratio of most road cars out there with 14:1. It's hard to explain. It is delicate, very fingertippy. It hits the rev limiter with ease. It's poised. It's an absolute pleasure to drive. Now, there's a problem with this car. The Miata or MX-5 has always had this dark, sale-stopping ladies' car reputation that's killed it for many potential customers. Technically speaking, this model doesn't do a whole lot on paper to prove that wrong. It has less power, less torque, less mass, and even less interior cabin space than the previous generation before it. With only 155 horsepower, that doesn't really get me up in the morning. All that doesn't really matter, and I'll tell you why. This is the 1st generation MX-5 that outside the tech specs is different. The interior is stylish and aggressive, the outside is low and mean, and it's sharp like one of Don Cherry's suits. For the first time, I don't feel like I'm driving a tropical fish or a lazy labradoodle. When you drive this car, you mean business, and it shows that. The aggressive styling and well-designed seats makes this car a pleasure to drive. It's comfortable and it truly has the perfect layout. Front engine, rear wheel drive, a limited slip differential, and optional Brembo brakes. It's simple, and it's exactly what I love about it. No confusing launch control or BP auto park functions. It's a real driver's car, and the fact that it comes standard with a manual gearbox proves it. With the base model beginning at just over $30,000 and the premium GT model near as makes no difference to $40,000, it's a pricey car. But I'm confident that the Miata and MX-5 legacy will live on no matter what generation you have, because it's always a great drive. The great thing also is that this roof, you can take up or put down this roof in a matter of only a couple seconds. And there's also the weight savings of not having any of the electric motors. There's no speed constraints either. Depends on how fast or how strong you are, but you can pretty much put this up or down at any speed. Now that I do love about the car. Now, this car is basic. There are many pros and cons about that. For example, one of the cons would be this cheap little low quality cup holder, or having these cheap visors without even having a light on it, or this little incandescent bulb for the doors. On the exterior of the car, in my opinion, the front is the best. You can see how aggressive the styling is, how sharp the lines are, and just how beautiful it is in general. But this car is a bit confused. When you take a look at the back, it's not aggressive at all. In fact, actually, it's kind of ugly. As you can see here, it seems like they've squashed the back. The front end is so large and powerful and mean. It's like it'll bite you. But the back looks like it's a squished on raspberry. I don't understand that part of the car. But as far as the styling goes, I still do love it. The car is very fun, very fast. It's a great car that anybody can buy and enjoy and not have to spend too much money. So what do you guys think? Is it a girl's car still? Make sure to put in the comments below. Also make sure to like and subscribe to follow us for any more videos that we're going to have on the channel.